There is something in the air of your home that you feel, but haven't been able to name yet. An energy that weighs heavy when you cross certain rooms. A silence that is far too dense when your partner is nearby. A glance that shifts away too quickly when you ask about something simple regarding the household. You think it's all in your head. You think it's exhaustion, stress, or the common problems of any relationship. But the truth, chosen one, is that God is showing you today something that your soul has known for a long time, and which only your mind still resists accepting. The environment of your home is burdened, and there is indeed something that the person beside you is keeping secret. It is not betrayal in the carnal sense that the world has taught you to fear. It is something much deeper than that. It is spiritual, it is energetic, it is a silent pact, sometimes even unconscious, that is affecting every inch of the space where you sleep, where you eat, where you pray, and where you dream. And that is why the Holy Spirit brought you to this video now, because the exact moment has come for you to see what has always been right before your eyes. Today you will understand why you have been waking up tired even after sleeping for hours on end. You will understand why arguments arise out of nowhere in certain areas of the house, always in the same corners, always at the same times. You will understand why prosperity seems to stall exactly when it should flow, why money comes in and vanishes without explanation, why peace is short-lived and conflict returns, as if it had a scheduled appointment. There is a reason, there is an open door, and there is someone inside your own home who knows this, even if they don't have the courage to tell you. Have you ever felt that something inside you doesn't fit into this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind still cannot name? It's not madness, it's not anxiety, it's not an existential crisis. It's a sign. And what is happening right now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this and why this sensation has intensified so much lately within your own home. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see. A game that involves your consciousness, your vibrational frequency, the physical environment where you live, and the role you were designated to fulfill in this transition that has already begun. Think carefully, chosen one. What if everything you've always felt inside that house, that strangeness, that weight, that silent certainty that something is wrong even when everything seems fine, was exactly the proof that you are not an observer of this story but the central piece of it? And what if the secret your partner keeps about the home environment wasn't a conscious choice of theirs, but the disguised action of something that entered there through a door that no one saw open? That is why, chosen one, I have prepared a powerful digital book for you, The Chosen of God's Manual for Protecting the Family. This digital book is not just reading material, it is a complete spiritual map that shows exactly who is playing against the peace of your home, what the invisible rules are that you were never told about the energies circulating within a house, and what prophets, intercessors, and divine revelations have already brought to light regarding the hidden pacts that settle into domestic environments without anyone noticing. This digital book was created for those who have awakened enough to know that the reality of their own home is much deeper than what is taught. For those who have felt firsthand that there are forces disputing control over the territory of their home and are ready to go beyond the shallow answers the world offers. The link is pinned at the top of the comments in the first spot. But I must warn you carefully, this type of content is rarely available for long. What is inside those pages challenges narratives that many structures have an interest in keeping intact, and there have been real attempts to silence this knowledge before. Do not wait for the right moment. Chosen one, because the right moment is now. You did not come to this video by accident. Download it now and comment below. I am chosen, and I will download the digital book. This comment is more than words. It is an act of faith, a declaration in the spiritual realm that you are ready to take back dominion over your home. Now that you have decided to act, the next truth I will tell you will be the final blow against this silent oppression that has dominated your home. Because you need to understand one thing. Every home is a temple. It doesn't matter if you built it, if you rented it, if you inherited it, or if you are just passing through. The moment you enter that space with your soul, with your breath, with your presence, that place stops being just walls and bricks. It becomes a spiritual field. And every spiritual field attracts, retains, and amplifies frequencies. Frequencies of prayer attract protection, multiply blessings and cast out what does not belong. But frequencies of resentment, of stored-up hurt, of repetitive negative thoughts, of objects with an unknown spiritual history, these attract exactly the opposite. And here is the part no one tells you, chosen one. Your partner may be carrying one of these frequencies without even knowing it. And worse, they may be bringing into the house, every day, an energy that takes root in the corners, in the rooms, in the objects, and that over time begins to dominate the entire environment. There are 3 classic signs that your home environment is being affected by something hidden that your partner is keeping. Pay close attention, because what I am about to tell you could completely change how you view the last few weeks, the last few months, perhaps the last few years of your life within that home. The first sign is the feeling of weight upon entering certain rooms. You can't explain it, but there is a bedroom, a living room, a hallway, a specific corner where the air feels different. You breathe differently there. Your mood changes when you pass that spot. Children and animals feel this first, always. If you have small children who avoid a specific place in the house, if your dog barks at nothing in a room, if your cat refuses to enter a certain area, chosen one, that is no coincidence. They are seeing what your rational mind has learned to filter out. The second sign is the pattern of arguments that always repeat in the same places and almost at the same times. Have you noticed? There are couples who always fight in the kitchen. There are couples who always fight in the bedroom after 9 at night. There are couples who come into conflict every time they sit on that specific sofa, at that specific table. People think it's coincidence. They think it's the stress of the day. But the spiritual truth is different. There are environments that have been surrendered, even without conscious intent, to forces of discord. And these forces do not create conflict out of nothing. They amplify what already exists within people's hearts. If there is stored hurt, they amplify it. If there is hidden jealousy, they amplify it. If there is a secret your partner carries and does not want to reveal, they use that room as a stage to make it manifest in the form of irritation, impatience, or harsh words that no one understands the origin of. The third sign, and perhaps the most subtle, is the presence of objects in your home that your partner defends with an emotional force that does not match the object's actual value. It could be an old picture. It could be a gift they received from someone in the past and never wanted to get rid of. It could be a piece of clothing, a perfume, a letter, a piece of jewelry, a stone, an amulet that they claim was given by a relative, but about which they never tell the full story. When you suggest getting rid of it, they resist in a way that seems disproportionate. When you touch it, they change the subject. When you ask about its origin, the answer is full of gaps. Chosen one, pay attention. Not every object is just an object. Some are doors, some are anchors. Some were delivered at some point, with an intention that the person who brought them does not always know, and they stay there, inside your house, feeding a frequency that disputes the spiritual dominion of that home, with your prayer, with your faith, with your chosen presence. And this is where many people go wrong. This is where the enemy takes advantage. People confuse this perception with paranoia. They confuse it with jealousy. They confuse it with a lack of trust in their partner. And they begin to doubt themselves. They begin to silence what they are feeling. They begin to swallow that tightness in their chest that appears every time they enter that room, every time they see that object, every time they smell that strange scent that appears for no apparent reason. But you, chosen one, were marked by God specifically not to silence this discernment anymore. The gift of discerning spirits is not a luxury. It is not a fantasy. It is not cheap mysticism. It is spiritual equipment given by God so that you are not deceived within your own home. And when this gift begins to manifest, it starts exactly like this, with small perceptions that your mind tries to minimize, but that your soul refuses to forget. That is why, chosen one, I prepared this unique digital book, The Chosen of God's Manual for Protecting the Family. This digital book reveals exactly how to identify objects with a spiritual charge inside the home, how to recognize silent pacts that partners, relatives, or old visitors left in the rooms, and how to perform a complete spiritual cleansing of the territory where you live without needing to depend on anyone. It teaches what no one tells you about compromised rooms, about residual energies, and about how the secret of a single person within a house can contaminate the entire home. This digital book was written for the chosen one who has already understood that praying is fundamental, but that there is practical knowledge about the physical environment that must walk alongside faith, because faith without action becomes theory, and the chosen one was called to act. The link is in the first pinned comment at the top right now. But I warn you seriously, this material challenges much of what is taught in common religious environments, and for that reason, there have already been several attempts to take this content down. Do not leave it for later, chosen one. Download it now, read it today, and comment below. I am chosen and I will download the digital book. This comment is a trench. It is a declaration in the spiritual world that you will no longer allow your home environment to be the territory of anyone but God. Now that you have made this pact with yourself, I will take you to an even deeper layer of this revelation, because what comes now separates those who only hear from those who truly understand. There is a category of secret within relationships that is particularly dangerous, and few have the courage to talk about it. It is the secret involving spiritual consultations made by your partner without you knowing. It could have been in their childhood, taken by a mother or grandmother concerned about some health issue. It could have been in their adolescence, seeking romantic guidance before they even met you. It could have been recently, in a moment of desperation, when they felt they were losing control of some area of life and sought someone who promised a quick answer. The problem, chosen one, is not the act itself. The problem is that every such consultation establishes a bond. Every offering made, every image delivered, every word spoken at a strange altar creates an invisible thread that connects that person to a specific spiritual field. And when that person marries, when they begin to share space, bed, food, and prayer with you, that thread enters with them. And that thread does not disappear on its own. It needs to be cut, and it can only be cut when brought to the light. This is why your partner often has behaviors that seem to have no explanation within the context of the marriage. Episodes of irritation that come out of nowhere, periods of sadness that last for days, and they cannot identify the source. Recurring dreams they never quite tell you about, an inexplicable aversion to holy things inside the house, such as a subtle resistance when you want to place a Bible in a certain spot, when you want to anoint a room, or when you suggest a prayer before a meal. It is not their lack of faith. It is not their character. It is an old bond that is still active and that manifests every time the light approaches, because everything that belongs to the shadows reacts to the light when it gets too close. And you, chosen one, are light. Your presence is light. Your prayer is light. And that is exactly why these old bonds begin to stir within your home, creating friction, creating discomfort, creating kept secrets that not even the partner themselves knows how to explain where they come from. There is something even more serious that you need to understand today. The home environment is a mirror of the soul of those who live in it. When two souls unite in a house, those souls begin to share the same energetic field, the same spiritual territory. If one of the souls has untreated wounds, hidden traumas, or hurts that were never surrendered to God, these contents do not stay only inside that person. They overflow into the environment. They stick to the walls. They accumulate in the bed sheets. They find a home in the corners, where spiritual dust gathers. And as time passes, the entire environment begins to vibrate at that frequency. You walk into the house and feel the weight of something that isn't even yours. You sleep and have strange dreams that are not part of your story, but of the hidden story of the person sleeping beside you. You wake up tired, irritated, anxious, without understanding why your peace seems to evaporate exactly between the four walls that should be your refuge. And here is the greatest of the revelations that God wants to give you today. You were chosen, yes, but you were not chosen to just endure this environment. You were chosen to transform this environment. There is a massive difference between these two things. Those who only endure grow old under the spiritual weight of the house. They fall ill, they lose their spark, they forget who they are. Those who transform rise up with authority, identify what is hidden, bring to light what needs to be broken, and establish, with word, prayer, and action, a new pattern of frequency in that home. You were not placed in this relationship, in this house, at this moment of your life by chance. It was all carefully designed by God so that you would discover, right now, what your real power is as a chosen one. The secret your partner keeps is not the end of the story. On the contrary, it is the portal that will lead you to discover the magnitude of your spiritual authority. Because the chosen one is not born ready. The chosen one is forged in circumstances that seem unfair, in houses that seem complicated, in relationships where, at first glance, they seem to be at a disadvantage. It is exactly in these scenarios that God reveals who the true chosen one is. That is why, chosen one, I prepared this special digital book with such care. The Chosen of God's Manual for Protecting the Family. This digital book is the most complete instrument that exists for those who need to understand, identify, and reverse exactly the type of situation we are describing here. It shows step by step how to recognize your partner's old spiritual bonds that are still active in your home environment, teaches specific prayers to break those bonds without direct confrontation, reveals how to transform every room into a territory sealed by the presence of God, and provides discernment tools so that you never again confuse spiritual intuition with paranoia. This digital book contains what no one has taught you anywhere else, because it was written for the modern chosen one, the one who lives in a world where the invisible weighs more than ever, and where the home has become one of the main battlefields of our time. The link is pinned at the top of the comments in the first spot, waiting for you. But I reinforce with all honesty, this content directly confronts narratives that many do not want to see exposed, false religious narratives, distorted spiritual narratives, and for that reason, there is constant pressure for this knowledge to be removed from circulation. Do not let it slip away. Download it now, today, this minute, and come comment below, "I am chosen, and I will download the digital book." This act is a key, chosen one. You are turning a key in the spiritual world when you do this, and doors begin to move on the other side. Now that you have sealed this commitment, I can finally show you the deepest level of this revelation, the level that separates the awakening chosen one from the chosen one in full dominion. There is a biblical principle that few people study with the depth it deserves. It is written that what is done in secret will be revealed on the rooftops. Think about that for a moment. God does not reveal secrets to hurt you. God reveals secrets to set you free. When you begin to perceive that something is hidden in your home environment, that is not a curse falling upon you. That is a blessing beginning. It is God Himself placing in your hands the possibility of seeing what has always been hidden, precisely so that you can act upon it with wisdom and authority. But for that you must be ready to see, and seeing hurts, seeing costs, seeing changes relationships, changes dynamics, changes the way you see the person sleeping beside you. That is why most choose to stay in the dark, because in the dark, the illusion of peace seems more comfortable than the truth that sets you free. But you are not the majority, chosen one. You are here. You are reaching this point in the video. You are feeling every word resonate inside your chest because your soul recognizes that all of this is true. The next thing I am going to teach you is one of the most powerful. When you begin to offer specific prayer for your home environment, 3 things will happen in sequence, and you need to be prepared to recognize each one. The first is the initial agitation. In the first few days after you start praying with intention for the environment, it will seem like the house is getting worse. Arguments may increase, strangeness may intensify, objects may move, dreams may become more vivid, and your partner may become more irritated for seemingly silly reasons. Do not retreat, chosen one. This is what the ancients called the exit noise. When something is being expelled, it manifests before leaving. It is the natural reaction of that which was comfortably installed and is now being dislodged by your spiritual authority. The second phase is the deep silence. After a few days of this agitation, a silence will come that seems strange. The house becomes too calm. The arguments suddenly disappear. Your partner becomes quieter, more introspective. It may seem like distance, but it is a process. It is the settling phase, where the environment is reorganizing itself into a new frequency. The third phase is the revelation. This is where God brings to light, in a natural and gentle way, that which was hidden. It may come through a conversation that arises out of nowhere. It may come through something your partner decides to tell you without you asking. It may come through an object that appears, or disappears, or breaks in a symbolic way. It may come through a vivid dream of yours, where God shows you exactly what needs to be dealt with. Trust. The God who chose you is the same who promised to reveal everything that needs to be revealed for your complete liberation. And do not confuse revelation with judgment. This is a grave error that many chosen ones make when they begin to awaken. They receive the revelation and use it as a sword against the loved one. That is not how it works. Revelation is not given for you to condemn your partner. It is given for you to intercede for them. It is given for you to position yourself as the priest of your home. It is given so that you deeply understand that the person beside you is also a victim of something they themselves perhaps do not even understand. When you understand this, your prayer changes. Your posture changes. Your presence in the house changes. And it is when this change happens in you first that the physical environment begins to obey. Because the environment always obeys the spiritual authority of the person most aligned with the light within that home. And that person, chosen one, is you. It doesn't matter who brought what. It doesn't matter who opened which door. From the moment you assume your identity as a chosen one and begin to operate with authority, the game changes. The territory changes hands. The frequencies reorder themselves. And the house, slowly, begins to be transformed into a temple again. There is one last layer I need to deliver to you before ending this revelation. There are houses that seem to absorb everything, and there are houses that seem to repel everything. The difference between the two is not in size, luxury, location, or price. It is in the pattern of spiritual presence that was established there. A house that absorbs is a house where no one prays aloud, no one worships, no one declares, no one opens the word with an audible voice. A house that repels is a house where the voice of the chosen one fills the environment regularly, where the word is read aloud, where praise is sung even if softly, where doors, windows, beds, dining areas, and resting places are anointed. The difference lies in one word: declaration. The chosen one who only thinks good things has a passive home. The chosen one who declares aloud has an active home, and an active home is a sealed home. It is a home where nothing enters without permission. It is a home where objects with a strange history are quickly identified. It is a home where secrets cannot maintain themselves for long, because the light of daily declaration exposes everything that tries to hide in the corners. And when your partner lives in such a home, 3 paths open for their life. The first is awakening. They begin to question things they always just swallowed. They begin to take an interest in spiritual themes they previously avoided. They begin to draw closer to what you have always presented to them and which they always politely rejected. The second path is confession. At some point, without you forcing it, they will open their heart. They will tell old stories. They will bring to light things they carried for years. And you need to be prepared to receive this with love, not judgment, because it is in that moment that the bond truly breaks, in the moment of confession before the one they love. The third path, and this is the most delicate, is spiritual separation. In some cases, when the person is not willing to surrender what they carry, the environment begins to expel that person naturally. They begin to feel uncomfortable at home, start making up reasons to stay out, and begin seeking places where they can maintain what they carry without the discomfort caused by the light you emanate. This is a painful process, but sometimes necessary, and when it happens, it is always God protecting you from something greater that you cannot yet see. Trust the process. Trust the God who chose you. Trust that every tear you shed on this path is being gathered in an eternal vessel, and that every step taken in faith is building a home the beauty of which you cannot even imagine yet. That is why, chosen one, with all care and all prayer, I prepared this transformative digital book, The Chosen of God's Manual for Protecting the Family. This digital book is exactly the perfect complement to everything you have heard so far. It delves into each of these 3 phases, teaches how to navigate each path with wisdom, provides specific declarations for every room in the house, brings directed prayers for every type of hidden bond that may be active in your home environment, and offers the step-by-step guide the chosen one needs to stop being passive within their own home and become the active priest of that territory. This digital book is what separates those who hear a good message and forget it from those who actually take the position God has determined. It delivers tools, not empty promises. It delivers clarity, not emotionalism. It delivers authority, not dependency. This is the digital book you have looked for your whole life without knowing you were looking for it. The link is pinned, first comment, at the top, waiting exactly for you. And I warn you, with all respect, but also with all frankness, do not leave it for later. Do not say you will download it tomorrow. Do not delegate to the future what your soul is asking of you now. This type of content is constantly attacked, Chosen One, because it exposes what many prefer to keep hidden. They have tried to silence it several times, and while it is available, you need to run. Download it now, start reading today, and comment below with faith, with conviction, with strength. I am chosen, and I will download the digital book. This comment seals a pact between you and heaven. It is your signature, it is your yes, it is your positioning before everything that was revealed in this video. I end with one last direct word for you, Chosen One. The secret your partner keeps about the home environment will no longer imprison you. From the moment you recognize that there is a spiritual game being played within your home, you have already moved from the position of victim to the position of protagonist. It doesn't matter how long this situation has dragged on. It doesn't matter how many times you tried to talk and were silenced. It doesn't matter how many nights you slept crying without understanding why your house felt so heavy. From today on, with everything that was revealed here, and with what is inside the digital book, the chosen of God's manual for protecting the family, you have in your hands exactly what you need to retake spiritual control of your territory. This is your time. This is your hour. This is your home. And this, Chosen One, is your calling. Go, read, apply, declare, and see, with your own eyes, every wall of your house begin to vibrate with the frequency of the glory of God. You are chosen. Your family is chosen. And nothing forged in darkness will prevail against what the light dwelling in you is capable of revealing. Download the digital book now at the link pinned at the top of the comments and comment with me now. I am chosen, and I will download the digital book. Heaven is waiting for this yes of yours.